Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into 100. Welcome into the Second One Podcast, episode 108. Joining you today is myself, Shiz, and we also have Brother Taheem Green and Mr. Mo Snell. Fellas, how y'all feeling today?
I'm all right, man.
It's
I'm
cold.
alive, right?
It's cold. It's cold. Usually
You
I say it's
tell.
hot.
I woke up this
Now it's
morning. There was
cold.
frost outside the car.
Yeah, it's cold and
You're
COVID is
not.
back, so it's just a double whammy. So
Yeah, that COVID ain't gonna leave.
yeah. So how this podcast works, we talk mostly about sports, hip hop, and politics, and everything in between. We give it to you straight, no chaser, and if we offend you, we apologize slightly. How we usually kick things off, we have our taking a shot segment where we talk about one of the topics I just named, give a bold prediction about that, and collectively we do pretty well. But when you're taking a shot, you're bound to have some mistakes here and there. So I'm gonna kick it off. We're recording on a Thursday evening, and we're in the midst of Thursday night football. But I'm gonna take it right to this division, this NFC West. Now I know the Seahawks have been on a little slide here. They've lost a game, they lost a game or two here and there. But trust me, believe in me on this. The Seahawks are still going to win this division comfortably, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Wait, first of all, what does comfortably mean?
By they going into the final week of the season, they can sit the starters because they won't have to worry about it. I'm gonna tell you why. Their schedule. So we know they're playing the Cardinals tonight, tough game. But here's the rest of their schedule: Eagles, Giants, Jets, Washington football team. Tough game against the Rams, and then they finish with your decimated 49ers.
Wait. Don't disrespect me, man.
Hey,
you did not have
saying.
to say decimated 49ers. You could have just said they play the 49ers. You didn't have to get all extra and use adverbs.
I'm just saying, y'all are not the same team. Y'all are not the Super Bowl team from last year. So, you're decimated. Jimmy G has more time to be with his prostitutes, and everything is just not working well for these 49ers this year. So I would say that's an easy game for them, and they might not even have to win it. But I'm just saying the Eagles, Giants, Jets, Washington football team, that stretch of games they should go 4-0. And the Rams and the Cardinals, they have to play each other twice. I believe they're going to beat up on each other. Cardinals, they still have to play the Patriots. So I just think scheduling wise, the Seahawks should still win this division, despite they lost to the Rams, they lost to the Bills, lost to the Cardinals a couple weeks before that. So losing 3 out of 4, people will get worried. But just looking at their schedule, they should take care of this division and win it comfortably. When I say comfortable, they don't have anything to sweat in the final week of the season. Snell, your thoughts?
I agree. I think I think they'll take first. I think they'll take care of the Cardinals tonight. I think the Cardinals just won't be able to follow up with that again. That type of performance, like that's an emotional win over the Bills, one that they shouldn't have had. So I think that's hard to follow up on. But I think Seattle. I just think Russell's just having too good of a year. I think as that defense gets healthier, they'll start to come along. They were giving up just so many yards, so many points. So I just think it's in their nature that their defense will come along. They've just always been a team with a strong defense. So I think they'll come along. Like you said, I think they have enough to hold on and win, at least win that division.
All right, Taim, your thoughts?
Well, I didn't know that their schedule was the schedule that you just painted for us. That has to be the easiest schedule in the NFL. So there is some truth to what you're saying. I don't think they win tonight, though. I do think the Cardinals beat them. I think they come along, but I think they come along. But I just don't think it's this week. Do they win that division comfortably? I don't know. I just think the Cardinals will have something to say for it. I just feel like it's going to be a lot harder for the for the Seahawks to try to overcome that defense, because that defense is not like I don't feel like it's getting better week by week. I feel like it's just, maintaining. And then if they lose tonight, they got those 3 easy games you said, but then they go back and they got to play the Rams, who is a high-powered offense, and then they got to play the 49ers, who at the end of the season might have that kind of chip on their shoulder, like they have something to fight for, like they're not just going to get, walked on. So they might beat them, and I think that's just going to give the Cardinals enough time to catch up. So I think they win it, but I don't think they win it comfortably.
All right, moving on. Snow, welcome back, first of all. And what is your taking a shot this week, sir?
So I'm going. Listen, I'm going to the NBA, to the association.
Yeah. No, hold on. This sounds like a Knicks taking a shot, and I'm already mad.
No, I won't. I'll say this about the Knicks. I won't say anything bad about the Knicks. The Knicks will be much improved. They'll be much improved. I'm not going to say that
is very kind of you. Very kind.
I'm not going to say they're a playoff team. I'm not going to say anything like that. But I will say that they will be much improved. With that being said, to the NBA, with all these moves going on, everything going on, I'm going to focus on what Devin Booker.
Oh yeah.
Who people think I'm not a fan of, but I have no problem with him at all. Right?
I got no problem with him.
I have no problem with Devin Booker. He just scores a lot of points and loses games. That's just what he does. But with the acquisition of Chris Paul, I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say that next year, Devin Booker will be the MVP of the NBA. That's my taking a shot. I think the thing that most hurt him is that he had a bunch of bozos around him. So he didn't trust to have anyone else handle the ball. He was responsible for everything when it came to the offense. And I think having Chris Paul there takes some of that pressure off from a ball handling standpoint and allows him to just work more off of picks, just do other things outside of basically having to create your own shot every time down the floor. So I think with that, I think his shooting percentage will go up. He won't be taking some of these wild shots that I've seen him take. And I think he'll be the MVP. I think the improvement will be that big of having a true point guard there with him that he'll be the MVP.
All right, Taim, what are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I like the take because I think he's right. Devin Booker was the only person out there that was actually playing basketball. So, like you said, everything was on his shoulders. He had to concentrate on so much and he was still scoring a lot. So can you just imagine when he doesn't have to carry that burden of thinking about how to run the offense? He could just get to a spot on the floor and kind of sit and wait for the ball and do whatever he needs to do with it. Or if you have a Chris Paul who can take some of the pressure off of him because Chris Paul can drive. And then if you have a nice a pick and roll game with Chris Paul and Ayton or Dayton, I can't remember his name. Ayton. If you got a pick and roll game with him, that just leaves him open in the corner, or on the elbow for open shots. So yeah, I think it does. I don't know if he gets MVP, but I think his game kind of takes that next step.
So I'm a Devin Booker fan. I think he's going to have a tremendous year. I don't think he's going to win the MVP simply because they're not going to win enough games to be in the top seed in the West. I think in order to win the MVP, the Suns would have to be, at least like a 3 seed. And currently, I think they're probably going to be anywhere from that 5 to 6 range. So that kind of puts a block on that. I do think he could lead the league in scoring, though. I think Chris Paul is going to get him a lot of open opportunities, a lot of catch and shoot opportunities, a lot of just like good spacing opportunities. So I do think that Devin is in store for his best season of his career by far. And I think he could lead the league in scoring. But as far as the MVP, I'm going to say no, simply because I just don't think the Suns will win enough games. And, the NBA, they're always looking for a player that's in, top 3 or 4 seed. Not even 4, probably like the top 3 seed in the East or the West. So, Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi, those are probably one of the guys that win. Anthony Davis, just because they're in the top 3 of the West or the East. But as far as Devin Booker, I can't see it. But leading the league in scoring is definitely a possibility, though. All right, moving on. Taheem, you're taking the shot, sir.
Oh, so I'm going to stay in the association. I'm going to go back to the draft last night. One of the Ball brothers got drafted at number 3, and he went to the Charlotte Hornets, Buzz City, as they like to be known as now, right? But who owns Buzz City, or who is a part of that management team? One, Michael Jordan. That Buzz City or Charlotte team has been trashed for the last 2 decades. They have been very bad at drafting and getting free agents. I think that LaMelo Ball, or whichever Ball this is, I think his career is going to get wasted. I think they are going to waste his career. His dad is going to get pissed and fight Michael Jordan in the street. I don't think it's going to work, because I think you're going to put too much pressure on him, going in. And when you think about it, his brother, when he was in LA, his dad put all the pressure on him, because his dad was saying, he's the best. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He didn't let him grow into the player that he should have been. And I think it's going to be the same situation here, but his dad isn't going to say nothing. It's just going to be the situation around him. Like, the Hornets are trash. You got this kid who is potentially, possibly a future Hall of Famer that has yet to be seen. But, his skill set, he's been playing. It seems like he's been playing basketball for his entire life. He's just going to go to Charlotte and kind of just dwindle away. Like, he's going to become an afterthought, because Charlotte is going to be so damn bad.
Yeah, their roster is just not that good. They got like Graham. He was one of the most improved players last year. Terry Rozier, they gave him a big contract. He's been a dud. And then you just got a bunch of just guys. And, LaMelo coming there as the savior, he's going to have some highlight plays, but he's going to kind of just be like stuck, kind of similar to how Trae Young is, just a young guy, that's electrifying, getting a lot of notoriety, but they're just losing every single night. And with LaMelo, he's a bit taller. He's like 6'8", so he's going to be able to play 6'7", 6'8". He's going to be able to play a lot of different positions, like 1, 2, or 3, or especially defensively if he commits to it. But again, that roster is just bad. Like their bigs are bad. The guards is okay, but I don't see Charlotte doing anything other than just being, if LeVar gets there, he'll be in the headlines. But as far as like basketball, I don't really see much from this team. They need to that whole roster just needs an overhaul. Like I have no idea what they're doing. And LaMelo, while I think he's going to be a good pro, I don't think he elevates them to a playoff team unless they make some other moves. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually think he does just enough. Like, I think they were right around that 9-10 seed last year with nobody that we know of besides Graham on the roster. So adding LaMelo, I think they drafted like Vernon Carey also is just another young guy. At least they'll get some television time now. They'll get some games to make it where maybe they could get somebody else. Like, they might have played like one game on TV all last year. Like, yeah, they nationally televised anyway. So I think now having him, at least you have some notoriety to, like you said, get some other people. Like, they need a trade. And now I think it makes it more willing for somebody to accept a trade to go there. Like, the roster needs updating. But before, it was just like, hey, listen, don't ruin my life and send me to Siberia here and send me to Charlotte. Like, now I think people will be more open to it. Like, okay, yeah, I'll go to Charlotte. Like, we got a couple young pieces. We're going to put some things together. I'm open to going there. So I think that's more of the outlook that LaMelo gives, at least for these first couple seasons. So I think they'll be able to make some moves, possibly get a veteran there, or some other role players there that could help them, get what do they need? In the East, you need like 35 wins, so it's not like we're talking crazy. So they can get a couple pieces to help that happen.
All right, that was our taking a shot segment with a round of applause. All right, moving into these topics. The NFL Cowboys coming off a bye. They will be visiting the Minnesota Vikings. They're on a win streak. Vikings are 7-point favorites. They opened up at 9.5-point favorites, so that line has been bet down a little bit. I don't know. Cowboys, the last time they played, they put up a good fight against the Steelers, but came up short, and that's kind of like changed the morale of how the media and everybody's looking at them. Andy Dalton, he's back from a concussion and COVID, so who knows how he's going to play this week. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect from this game. My gut tells me we're going to get blown out as usual. But, if we could just come together, put forth a valiant effort off a bye, maybe we can make this a competitive game. But I just have a fear that Dalvin Cook, he's just going to be running all over this defense. And, we're not going to be able to move the ball on offense. So I expect us to lose pretty handily. But hopefully the Cowboys surprise me and, they compete. But as far as like winning, no. The Vikings covering the spread, 7 points is a lot of points, especially with Kirk Cousins. He's bound to do something dumb. So who knows? This is just a game that if I was betting, I would not bet. But I do not see the Vikings losing this game at all. So maybe use them in a teaser, tease them down to like a 1.5 or something like that. Or, a point, something along those lines. But as far as the spread, I just wouldn't do it. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Taheem, what are your thoughts on this premier matchup for Week 11?
So I'm going to stick to my word and say I'm not going to talk trash about the Cowboys because Dak got hurt. So I'm just going to say I think the Vikings are going to win. I think it's going to be a really, really tall task for the Cowboys to beat the Vikings because Dalvin Cook is just running amok on the entire NFL. So there you go.
All right. To know your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think this will be close. I think the Vikings are just too hot right now. They're coming off of a good win. I just think it's they're coming off of they played last Monday night. They're coming off of a Monday night football win over a division. So this is just, I don't think this goes well for the Cowboys, regardless of who's that quarterback.
Yeah, it could be DiNucci, it can be Andy, it can be me. I just don't see I don't see us winning this game. All right, moving on. Rams at Bucks. Bucks 4-point favorites. Monday Night Football. I think this is a really good matchup. Rams have a pretty good defense. Bucks have a pretty good defense. And both quarterbacks, if you put some pressure on them, they kind of get happy feet. So these two teams are kind of like, good mirror images of each other. The Bucks offense is way more explosive though because of the weapons that you have. But I think the style of play is a little similar where you want to – I think the Bucks – the most successful thing the Bucks do is running the football, controlling the clock, and letting the defense do what they do. So as far as the game itself, I don't know. The Rams have been playing well. 4 is a decent amount of points. I think I would lean towards the Rams keeping it close just because their defense has been playing really well. But I also can see the Bucks causing a couple turnovers from Goff. So this is another game that I wouldn't bet. But if I was forced to bet, I would probably take the Rams in the points. But yeah, another good Monday Night Football matchup. ESPN usually gets shortchanged in these situations, but they were blessed this week. Snell, your team, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it'll be, like you said, I think it'll be a close game. You got two really good defenses. The only reason why I really think we'll win is that, like you said, Goff is against good defenses. Goff is like really bad against good defense. So like it's that's the only added advantage I think we have is that if it comes down to like, all right, which quarterback is gonna play better, I think Tom Brady or play a little bit better than Goff would against a good defense. That Goff, he can just go out there and just throw picks galore against a really good defense. So that's why I think the advantage comes down to, like you said, I think a couple turnovers, likely interceptions, will be the reason the Bucs win.
All right, Taim, your thoughts.
I think these Buccaneers are finally settling in. I think old Noodle on Tom is getting it together, and he's hitting on all cylinders. I think Brian can now read, so he's calling the correct plays. I just think the Bucs are on that uptick. They're going to be a hard team to beat. So in the Rams, they're a good team, nothing against them, but I'm going to take the Bucs in this one by a touchdown.
All right, moving on. Jets at Chargers. Chargers 9-point favorites. This is this is a bad game. Like, period. Chargers, they can't win. Anthony Lynch just finds creative ways to lose games, and the Jets are the Jets. They got Joe Flacco starting again, and I the thing about Joe, which was baffling to me. So, in the last game they played the Patriots, Joe Flacco had a QBR of 96.9. Do you know that Sam Darnold has never had a QBR rating over 90? So the way Flacco played against the Patriots was pretty much better than anything Sam Darnold put forth in his entire career. That's how
I don't know what goes into that QBR rating. But when you think about it, Joe Flacco is the type of quarterback, like, he's not going to throw the game away, but he's not going to win the game either. He's super protective of the ball, so that might be why he got such a high QBR. But I think the QBR is bullshit, because when you think about it, Darnold is a better quarterback right now, especially than Joe Flacco. So,
yeah, I would definitely agree. But I mean, the numbers are the numbers, and analytic guys want to use.
Analytic guys been losing all year.
Yeah, and the analytic guys love those numbers, so that's what the QBR says. But as far as this game, I think the Jets might have a shot at covering, just because I don't trust Anthony Lynn. He is notorious for just doing something dumb. Can't close games. The Jets, they did play decent against the Patriots, had a shot to win it, but they lost. But these are just two dysfunctional teams, two teams that both coaches should be fired. And the Jets defense, they're okay. I think they might be able to force the rookie into some mistakes. I don't know, man. I'm not going to bet the game, but if I was forced to bet it, I would take the Jets in the points. But you talk about awful football. Tune in to watch this game. This is awful football. Snell, any thoughts on this? Taim, any thoughts? What is this?
Yeah, like you said, it's just the rare time where I think both coaches should be fired. But with that being said, I do think that the Chargers at least try for Anthony Lynn, where I don't think the Jets give a damn about what. And I think after not getting a win versus the Patriots, I think the fact that those guys were paying the Patriots is what brought forth that maximum effort. Is like, hey, we're playing against the Patriots who beat up on us for years. Like, a couple guys have been on the team, so you kind of got that max effort. But versus the Chargers, somebody you rarely play, I think this is a blowout, 110%, no doubt about it. Because I don't think anyone cares to see Adam Gase get fired. So,
yeah. All right, moving on. Eagles at Browns. Browns 3-point favorite. This is even though the Eagles they lost to the Giants, inexcusable. This is a really interesting matchup because the Browns, they can't pass. Eagles secondary is not good, so doesn't matter. Eagles run defense is pretty solid, and the Browns love to run the football. So it's going to be the battle of who's better in regards to the Browns run game or the Eagles run defense. And that's really what's going to determine this game. On the other side, offensively, Eagles look very dysfunctional. Myles Garrett, I mean, he might be ready to take Carson's leg this game if he suits up. This is I don't know. I feel like leaning towards the Eagles in the points though, just because Baker, he's not good either. These two teams are kind of like they're kind of similar, but it's just that the Browns inexplicably are just more disciplined. Like they stick to the run and that's it. But
and that's crazy to say that the Browns are more disciplined than anybody.
yeah, but other than that, like you have two quarterbacks that are struggling, can't pass. Eagles, offensively, the Eagles are just lost. Like I don't know what they're I don't know if they're trying to run the ball, they're trying to pass.
I think Doug Peterson needs to be fired. I think he can't call plays anymore.
I think the Super Bowl guarantees him at least this season and next. But
trash.
Back to the game. I don't know. I lean towards the Eagles in the points just because, like, if the Eagles' run defense can stop Chubb and Hunt, and you force Baker to pass, you have an opportunity to cause a couple mistakes. So I would take the Eagles in the points, but I don't know. This is not going to be on my betting ticket this Sunday. Snow, your thoughts?
Yeah. So like I said weeks ago, the Giants will win this division solely for one reason. It's the coaching. I don't think Doug Peterson needs to be fired, but also at the same time, I think some of these guys that they have there have given up on his style of what he's calling because it's just not working. Primarily because of one Carson Wentz throwing the ball away, and by throwing it away, I mean interceptions so much that it's hard to do. It's just hard to overcome. So
he might not trust his wide receivers. I don't even know who's he throwing the ball to.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day of drafting Jalen Reagor.
Why the Eagles are trash.
Yeah, of drafting, you could say drafting Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson that the Vikings have. Like that's why. So decisions like that are why I think they're just trending the wrong way. Like you said, Shiz, I think both of these teams are pretty much similar in a lot of ways, but I just think it's a situation where the Browns are like kind of trending upwards and the Eagles are trending downward. And it's just you meeting them at the perfect time. Like if this game's week 1, it's a pick 'em. Like pretty much the way it is. But just at this time of the year, I think the Browns do win the game. Like you said, Baker's not great. The only person I can say that's more reckless than Baker is Carson Wentz right now. So that's where it's at. I think Carson is just too reckless, and that defense is just too good that you throwing interceptions and the Browns running the ball, controlling the clock, you'll lose. Like that's just what'll happen. So I'll take the Browns this game.
All right, Taheem, any thoughts on this game?
No, I mean I just think the Eagles are trash. So I'll take the Browns on this one. I like what the Browns are doing because they're playing to their strengths, which is running the ball because Baker is not that good of a quarterback, passing accuracy wise, and the defense is pretty good. Myles Garrett is I think he's leading the league or he's tied with sacks right now. So the defense is doing their job. They're running the ball. I'm not saying that I like the Browns. I just like how they're being coached. They're playing into their strengths. And the Eagles are not playing into their strengths because I don't know what the fuck they're doing from week to week. So,
yeah. All right, moving on. Packers at Colts. Colts 1.5 point favorite. Packers coming off a closer than needed game against the Jags. And the Colts took care of business against Tennessee on Thursday night last week. So this is a good game. Colts defense is pretty good. Rivers is kind of like settled in. He's still old, but he's doing just enough to make sure that offense runs. And then with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is playing at a very high level. Their defense though has not really been that great. So I don't know. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I lean towards the Packers just because I just think the QB play of Aaron Rodgers will be able to uplift the team enough to beat the Colts. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Colts won either, just because their defense can they can cause some ruckus. If they can stop the run game, force Aaron to be one dimensional, maybe that can help them. But this is definitely one of the better games on Sunday. It's a 425 game, and this is one of those games where you just want to sit back and learn. You want to learn if the Colts are legit. You want to learn if the Packers are a Super Bowl contender. And you just want to see where both teams are at. Both teams, have pretty good records, playing pretty good football. This is a game for me personally. I just want to sit back, watch, see what's going on, and let the outcome be the outcome. Taheem, any thoughts on this game?
No, I like your analogy of it. It's a kind of a game that you sit back and watch just to see what you got out of these two teams. The Packers, they're from week to week they're kind of iffy. But every week they go, you want to think that you go into a game thinking, oh, they're going to win the game because they're the Packers, because they got Aaron Rodgers or they got Devontae Adams, you know what I mean? Because they're such a good team. But then sometimes they lay an egg and they don't come out and play the way they're supposed to play. Then you got the Colts, who I think the Colts to me are not a good team because they went out and got Phillip Rivers. I think that was the worst offseason move that you could have gotten. You went out and paid a super old quarterback that's not a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady all that money.
He's better than Jacoby Brissett, in my opinion. And they only signed him to like a 2-year deal, I believe. So it was just kind of a quarterback that they picked up. And, if somebody becomes available, like maybe they'll go get Darnold, or maybe if the Cowboys decide not to bring Dak back, they'll do that, or Jimmy G or something. But for this year, I think Phillip Rivers gives them a better chance than Jacoby. But that's just my opinion. But go ahead.
To me, I'd have worked with Jacoby more, so I didn't have to spend that money, and you could have used that money, somewhere else. But yeah, I think the Colts are more of a fraud than the Packers are. So I'm expecting the Packers to win this game. And I don't know. I saw how they beat Tennessee, but going into that game, I would definitely thought Tennessee would have won that game.
All right, Chanel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agree like that. I think them beating the Titans is kind of, that, like Taheem said, that's kind of a fraudulent win. Like, if you think about it, if they don't get the Titans had a 15-yard punt from the 2, like that never happens. And then the following play, they got the ball back, and then the Colts, Colts blocked the punt. So it's like two wild special teams plays is kind of how the Colts won the game. If not for that, I don't think that game. I don't think they may have still won, but they don't win by 17. I kind of think that part of it was just a little bit too much. So if I'm just going off the teams and not having, big unforeseen things happen, I would just take the Packers to win the game, because you can't really rely on a special teams block to get you 7 points, and then also the team kicking a 15-yard punt from their own 2. Which gives you the ball like the 20. Like, that's just kind of freaking nature type stuff. So, but besides that, Phillip Rivers was still terrible. So it wasn't like it was. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, hey, they went out here and they won the game. It was like, no, we were terrible. We got lucky with getting a 15-yard punt. We scored, and then we blocked the punt to score. And that was it. That kind of put the game away. But in the first half, I think they were down 17-13. So it wasn't like they were doing much. So I think Phillip Rivers is just getting lucky, because he should be done.
Yeah, he definitely looks old. Moving on, Chiefs at Raiders. Raiders 8-point home underdogs. Raiders do have a victory over these Chiefs, so the Chiefs will be motivated to get some revenge. Raiders also have a lot of their defensive players on that COVID list, so they're not able to practice. This is just all the ingredients for an ass whooping by the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs cover this 8 easily because, like I said, they're motivated, they're pissed off because this is a team that beat them. Raiders are hurt. Raiders have been they're kind of like flying high a little bit. They've been winning some games. Their style of play is just ugly. Like, we just gonna run this ball. We're gonna complete a little 7-yard pass, and then we're gonna score. And if it works, it works. Win the game. But I think these Raiders, they're definitely a bit fraudulent, and I think the Chiefs are out for blood. Sammy Watkins is back. Chiefs, they're a well-oiled machine, and when they're motivated, they can really lay the hammer down on you. And I expect this game to get ugly early, and Chiefs cover the 8 easily. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they covered easily. I think this is just a prime example of certain styles make fights type deal, and the Raiders just play ugly, and I think it just doesn't mesh well with what the Chiefs are trying to do. So, if the Raiders are, they'll let you have all that underneath stuff, and then they'll hit you hard, then they'll bite you and pinch you or do whatever they got to do. And you know what I mean? It's just an ugly style of the game. So I think the game will still be pretty close. I think the Chiefs will win, but I think it'll be a close game just from the familiarity of both teams with each other. And I just think, like you said, the style that the Raiders play, it just makes for an ugly game, a low scoring game, and you can't get greedy versus them because they will make plays. So I think it'll be close. Like, I would take the Raiders in the points. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think, even though they beat them.
All right, Taim, your thoughts?
Man, I think this is going to be a prime candidate for the royal ass whipping of the week. I think these Kansas City Chiefs are going to come in here, go in there and beat the hell out of the Raiders just because they rode around in the bus. And then you got Andy Reid up there on the podium talking about it, and Gruden's talking about it too. And because I think what happens in a lot of games is the Chiefs go up, and then Andy kind of draws back on the playbook. For one, not to show everything that he can do, and two, is kind of like the unspoken mercy. I don't think he's going to do that this game. When they go up 14, he's going to keep passing the ball, and they're going to go up like 45.
Gruden and Andy are from like that same coaching tree, so Gruden knows Andy well. That's another
card's trash, and he won't be able to keep up points wise, and they're just going to run that defense up and down the field. So, I mean, it's nothing they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I like I said, when the Chiefs are motivated, their best is better than anybody in the NFL, especially the Las Vegas Raiders. Anything else left in football?
No.
No? All right, round of applause. All right, moving on to the NBA. NBA draft took place on Wednesday night. A lot of good prospects coming in. Anthony Edwards going first overall. James Wiseman going to the Golden State Warriors. My Knickerbockers thought we was going to take Tyrese Halliburton, but we went with a big. We got 38 power forwards. Why not add another one? But Obi Toppin looks like he can play. They compare him to a young Amari, so that's a good comparison. Played well at Dayton. He's a good finisher around the rim. Can also shoot the three a little bit. Then later on in the first round, we drafted Manuel Quickly out of Kentucky, SEC Player of the Year. So the Knicks they did okay for me. I thought they usually draft some player out of Israel that can't play for 3 years, and it's just all bad. I remember the Danilo Gallinari pick that really hurt me, but he turned out to a good pro. The pick that's really grinding my gears now is that Frank Ntilikina pick. He sucks. Kevin Knox hasn't developed into what I wanted him to. RJ Barrett, shows up some ability, so I have some hope there. But overall, I thought the draft was pretty cool. A lot of the players, since they haven't played in such a long time, it's like a lot of unknown. Like James Wiseman, I think he only played 3 games at Memphis, and that was it. He had to go because of some eligibility issues. So a lot of this draft, particularly, it's going to be a lot of unknown. But hopefully, these players come in, they make an impact. A lot of this and let's just get back to basketball because some of these, like the NBA teams, some of these teams haven't played since March. In college, they haven't played in a while either. So it was good to see a draft class come in. Free agency in the NBA starts on Friday, and everything's going to get started rather quickly. But before we get into like other stuff in the NBA, Tahim, did you have any thoughts on the draft? Did you watch it? Like, what was your overall undertaking about it?
I really didn't watch the draft. I was just kind of paying attention to what the Golden State was going to do because of the injury. I was also looking to see if Minnesota might have taken the ball kid first. But other than that, no, I really don't watch the NBA draft because there's so many college teams, so many college players, and there's only 2 rounds. I don't watch it at all.
All right. Snell, any thoughts on well, I know you watched it. What are your thoughts on the draft?
Yeah. On the draft, it was, the NBA. I've been saying it for some years now that the NBA needs to go to 4 rounds and allow high school kids to come right into the NBA. But the draft, the thing that I keep noticing is that a lot of these guys are being taken off of potential as opposed to just pure talent. I think Obi, he's National Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he's older, 22. Yeah.
Yeah, he's National Player of the Year, and the Bulls took Pat Williams.
That was a wild pick.
But in that regard, I can't really you can't really blame the Bulls of hey, we're taking the better prospect. We don't really, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's 3 years younger, and maybe if he stayed in college 3 more years, maybe he will be Player of the Year. But he's not. He's coming out now, so we're taking him now. But at the same time, as it goes, if you do that for the entirety of 2 rounds, you have guys that should be on teams that aren't on teams simply because of their age at that point. That's really what it starts getting into. It's just hey, we're going to take this guy because he's younger, and we'll just pick you up, as a free agent. I think that happened with the kid from Seton Hall, Miles Powell, where it's he's comfortably better than a couple guards that got drafted, in my opinion, of me watching basketball. But it's like you said, he's 22, they're 19, or they're 20, so they'll rather invest in a 20-year-old over somebody who's 22. So it just gets weird to me from that standpoint, because you're not really. It's almost like you're not picking the draft. Unlike the NFL, I feel like you're picking the best players available. The NBA, it's really you're picking the best prospects available. If that makes sense. So it's the best players aren't getting picked, and there's such a little amount of rounds that it just goes so quickly, and it's just this was weird. There's a bunch of guys that should be in the NBA that aren't. You know what I mean? A lot of the NFL, a lot of NFL guys that stay around and have the long careers, they're 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. The top 2 rounds, a lot of those guys fall off rather quickly. So it's just weird, kind of a weird thing to see.
Yeah, and what was interesting is so Duke, they had a center, Vernon Carey. I was very surprised that he slipped to the 2nd round. I thought he had a lot of ability, and it just goes to show that the game has kind of changed a bit, where the true centers, they're just not being picked. And I heard that so the Knicks, Carey was picked number 32, pick 33. The Knicks picked up a center, but they traded him right away because they were targeting Carey, but once they didn't get him, they just picked the player and then they shipped him out of there for a 2nd round pick in the future draft. But one of the things, I think Carey or just a center, that's if you're averaging 20 and 10 in the ACC or the Big Ten or a Power 5 conference, you should be able to at least play a little bit in the NBA, especially if you're 7-footer. And it just goes to show is James Wiseman. That potential is what really got him picked that early, because if you're looking at a Carey who put in the work for a full season at Duke, And you're looking at Wiseman who played 3 games. It's just like, okay, are we drafting on potential? Or are we drafting off ability? Like, what are we doing? So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, with the Knicks, we did okay. We still need a point guard. Frank Ntilikina is not the answer. Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know what his story is this year. He's always up to something. But like you said, I think the draft. I think the G League needs to really they need to develop it a little bit more. Start allowing these high school players to go there right away. And I think they are going to start doing that. But this year it's just a mystery. So we'll see. But moving on, we had a devastating injury. Klay Thompson, he missed all of last season due to a leg injury, and this year he tore his ACL. No, I mean he tore his Achilles, so he's going to miss another season. So it's going to be 2 full years that he's been out. For the Warriors, I'm not sure what this means, man, because to me, their mentality is championship or tank. Like, if they can't compete for a championship, we're just going to sit guys. And, like Draymond Green last year, he had some small injuries, but there was no reason for him to not play at all. Like he didn't play. He didn't play much at all. Steph, he had the broken hand, so he was out. And it just seems that when things go bad, they just tank. And this year, I think it might be a little bit different after they made that trade for Kelly Oubre. He's a nice young player. He's not no Klay, of course, but he's a player with some ability. So I think at least initially the Warriors will, they'll play to win. But they go on a little 5-game losing streak, or they find themselves in 10th in the West at the quarter pole. You might see some guys sitting down, resting, and start tanking again for another better pick. So yeah, it's that team is just kind of weird to me. Saheem, any thoughts on that?
I don't know if they're gonna tank. I just think I think they've been going so deep in the playoffs the last couple of years that all these injuries finally caught up to them. People just started getting hurt. And I think last year it was just kind of like, all right, man, let's sit these guys so that we can make a big push next year. I don't think it was kind of like, oh, let's tank because we have no potential. It's kind of like, well, Draymond's getting nicked up. Let's try to get that longevity out of it and sit him so we can rest him. You know what I mean? We don't have Klay. We don't have Steph. I mean, there's no reason to run him out there and get hurt. And then next year when those guys are healthy, you don't have a Draymond. And now coming into this year, Klay is not going to be there, and you have Draymond. But like you said, they got Kelly Oubre and then their number 2 pick. So I think they're going to make a run at it. And I don't think if they find themselves 10 or 9, that they're going to tank the season. I think they're just going to keep fighting through, trying to get better, trying to work some chemistry things, trying to develop maybe some other pieces so that when Klay does come back, they're just it's a better overall team.
All right, Stone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be tanking at all. I think from offensively, I think you can find Klay's production. I think you can find that offensively as far as, we need somebody to be a spot up shooter and knock down threes. Obviously Kelly Oubre is no Klay, but he can you can't just leave him open for 3. He'll hit a jump shot. The big thing for me with Klay is that he plays defense, and you can't really replace that. But I think they'll be fully competitive with with having what they have as far as Steph, Draymond, you get James Wiseman, you add Kelly Oubre, anybody will take a pay cut to go to that team at this point. So when it's everything's said and done, they'll have a roster that can compete. But yeah, you just can't replace. I think you can replace the production that Klay gives you on offense because he's most of the time he's just a spot up shooter, and you can find a spot up shooter, but you can't find somebody that's gonna give you that shooting and then go guard the other team's best player. You can't find that. So I think they'll be competitive. I don't know how well they'll do because now they don't have a defender for the premier guards. You don't have that anymore. So, but I think they'll be competitive. I don't think they'll definitely be a playoff team and everything like that. So,
all right, a couple other things I wanted to discuss. I didn't write it down, but the 76ers, I thought they made some tremendous moves by getting rid of Al Horford. I thought that contract was untradeable. Brought in Danny Green, and then they brought in Seth Curry, to catch and shoot players. I think those are the perfect fits around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Still got Tobias Harris. I think the Sixers, they're going to have a shot, with Doc Rivers. I gave them some flack earlier in one of my taking the shots a few weeks ago. But those two moves right there, it just makes the court, the spacing on the court, just fits a lot better now. Like, you having Al Horford and Tobias Harris on the floor, it's like, all right, what are we doing? But Ben Simmons able to drive and kick to either Danny Green or Seth Curry on the wing, or Tobias Harris driving and kicking like that. That's good floor spacing, in my opinion. And with Doc Rivers, even though he choked with the Clippers, he's a better coach than Brett Brown, and they should be formidable in the East. Like, I'm not ready to say that they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, just because I need to see what else happens in free agency. But I like the moves that they made, and they are definitely a better team already than what they were last year. Any thoughts on the Sixers or any other teams?
Yeah, the Sixers made some good moves. Like you said, that Al Horford move was probably the best offseason move of the year. I think they moved a lot of those pieces to try to make room for Harden, but Harden doesn't want to go there. He wants to go to Brooklyn. And I think if he does go to Brooklyn, I don't think that chemistry is going to work. Because I think those guys just with their style of play, all of them would just clash. But the 76ers make some good moves. I think if they get one more piece that fits the system, then that's the Eastern Conference contender right there.
Yeah, I mean, going back to go ahead, Snell. Before we, I want to say something about Brooklyn, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I think getting rid of Al Horford, that was just correcting a move that should have never been made. Like when the year that they got Al Horford, like, they paid him all that money. He was not a top free agent for nobody, and they went and paid him all that money for no reason. So yeah, just getting rid of him. I think they had to give up a first round draft. Like, they'll be competitive, so giving up a first round draft pick isn't really that detrimental to them. But I think that was just Doc Rivers coming in and just correcting, like, hey, let me just correct the move y'all shouldn't have made in the first place, and get this guy off the roster. Like you said, it doesn't help with floor spacing. It doesn't help if you're like, hey, let's play fast. It just doesn't do anything for you. So getting rid of him was definitely smart by Philly.
Yeah, and to the Nets, the pieces don't fit. Harden, KD, and Kyrie. It would really be up to them to sacrifice. Like, is Kyrie going to sacrifice and be the third option? Is James Harden going to pass the ball to Kevin Durant, and vice versa? Those are the sacrifices you got to make. And from the outside in, we can't tell because we're not in the locker room speaking with these guys. But it would be exciting to see. Just like, wow, like, you got three guys that are still pretty much in their prime. Well, Kevin Durant might be a little bit past it because of that injury, but it would just be wild to see, like, three guys of this caliber on the same team. And with a rookie head coach and Steve Nash, it would be just a story in itself. But I don't know, based on like some of the reports, like, it seems like it's not going to happen at this point in time. Like, I saw a report saying that the Rockets are willing to get uncomfortable with James Harden and Russell Westbrook, whatever that means.
That's a wild statement.
Like, we're ready to get uncomfortable with these two. Like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that whole thing, that would be wild to see. But I don't know. At this point, it just looks like it's not going to happen. Anything else in the association? Free agency starts again. Reminder: free agency starts Friday. Hopefully, the Knicks don't do anything stupid like give Fred VanVleet the max.
They might.
I'm just really hoping that doesn't come true. But the free agency class is not really that deep. I mean, technically, Anthony Davis is a free agent, but more than likely he's going back to the Lakers. Yeah. Other than that, you got Fred. You got.
Serge?
It's just Serge. It's not really that deep of a class. Next year, it'd be better with Greek Freak, but who knows where he go?
He might go somewhere else before then.
Yeah. So, all right. If there's nothing else, round of applause for basketball. All right, moving on. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. A lot has happened with the country. We had an election take place, and we had a winner and we had a loser, allegedly. Trump has not conceded yet, and he doesn't have any plans to. In fact, he plans on suing every state in the United States, pretty much.
Sure.
This guy.
This is just I kind of knew like this was going to happen. Like if he lost, he was going to do whatever it took to like just prolong the inevitable. And I don't expect him to leave the White House till Memorial Day. I keep saying that he's going to find a way, some loophole, some lawsuit, whatever, to stay in there. But ultimately, they getting them out. Secret Service, do what you got to do. Get the military in there, whatever. So they might send you down there, man. Dude, like yo. Go get him out. So I don't know. So I don't think he concedes. Do any one of you think he will concede at any point?
Well, would they Biden supposed to go in the 20th?
20th, 21st of January, yeah.
The 19th. Like the last day before. That's when he'll do it.
I don't even know about that, man. It's a wild. This is a wild thing, you know. He lost. I mean, so way before January 20th, the recounts are going to be done, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to know again who's won these states. So when Joe Biden proves to have won these states again, what is he going to do? Sue the states again to stay in?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
What is he going to continue to do?
He got Rudy Giuliani hard at work, man. He's sweating out his perm.
I'm about to say, I saw that picture of Rudy out there sweating that black stuff out his hair.
Yeah, you working hard.
He's sweating hard, like he can't breathe.
Like, all you gotta do is talk. Like, why you sweating?
Right. You have to talk.
Yeah,
he's a lawyer, so he's trained to talk. And he's up there sweating hard.
Yeah, them lies just cooking them lies just cooking so fast in his head. He got to make sure he say them correctly.
Yeah, he just made the whole thing just makes the country look horrible, man. Like it's just gonna hurt the country because like there were reports that the concession, you get that out of the way. I mean, for one, it's been done in every presidency, in every presidential run. When the loser concedes, he just concedes. But you got to have that transfer of power. You got to have the transfer of information, being brought into the meetings. Like they said, Trump is not letting Biden into any of the meetings. So it's like once Trump is gone, Biden's going to be stepping in to this new job with no information. And it's just like, all right, go ahead and run the country.
Yeah.
Well, what information? Like he has to play catch up so fast. It's going to be detrimental, to the United States. Like, and I think at some point you have to be a human being and see that and understand that. Like I think the president now is making this about himself when he should be thinking about the country. Like he's jeopardizing the country.
Absolutely.
Like this is not about him anymore. This is about, he's jeopardizing the country. Like there's other countries sitting laughing at us now because of, we got this going on. We're supposed to be the free world, the leaders of the free world.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I personally don't want a person like that representing me on a world stage, when you're so self-absorbed that you are willing to put other people at risk just to stroke your ego.
So what happens to the wall?
Well, the wall was never built. Well, there's sections of the wall that was built, but it's just going to sit there unless it gets torn down.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that. Like they spent all this planning and resources and all this crazy stuff for the wall, and now it's just going to be gone.
Well, he didn't get the money for the wall. That's why he couldn't build it. He tried to put the money in the budget, and they wouldn't sign the budget. So, it was a forced government shutdown and everything like that. And they just said, no, we're not going to give you this $500 billion to put up this fucking wall. And they didn't back down. They didn't put it in there. They didn't give them the money for it.
Yeah, what a shit show. Gotta love it. Anything else, man? I mean, I don't know. We got Thanksgiving coming up this week. I mean,
next week.
Next week. Make sure you wear. Are you gonna wear your mask as you try to eat? Like, how y'all gonna do that?
Listen, man. all I ask for is just give me a courtesy call. Like, you're not feeling well, just give me a call. But I'm eating my Thanksgiving dinner for sure.
Yeah, man. Just stay safe. New Jersey's about to probably go back into another lockdown.
Yeah, that's.
I was telling Shiz earlier, I don't think it's going to be the same as it was before. I think it's going to be different, modified.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be shutting down stuff that's already opened again. I think it's going to be very, very limited and strict on how many people you can let in stores, stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that as well. Like, a lot of the delivery protocols and everything, like, pick up only. I think that stuff is like already in place.
Yeah,
I think we'll get that. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll outside of only states I think that's going to be open is Florida and Texas. Like,
that's it. Florida, Texas,
definitely in Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah, Florida, Texas, Georgia. They'll be fully open. But I think everybody else it'll definitely be like a lockdown situation.
So back to Thanksgiving. So what are some of your favorite dishes that you're looking forward to?
Oh man,
protein shake, man. That's it.
So this is gonna sound ridiculous, really ridiculous. But so I was talking with Kyrie. I was like, I think I might bring something to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. I ain't cooked nothing.
Bring a bottle of wine, bro.
So I might cook something. I might cook something this year. And so I think my best dish is spaghetti.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
So
you can't take spaghetti.
Have you ever had spaghetti on Thanksgiving?
No.
No.
You sure? I mean, I've seen Big Ziti at Thanksgiving. That's in the same. That's in the same family.
No,
that's different, man.
That's two different.
Big Ziti takes more.
That's two completely different dishes.
It's the same family, though.
Yeah.
Like you got the smart cousin and the retarded cousin. You don't bring the retarded cousin.
Yeah, I think I might bring this spaghetti to Thanksgiving. Man.
Yo, you wild. If you do that, if you do that, you gotta record it.
Yeah, that's right there. We're bringing like pizza. Like it's the same family. It's the same family. Like nah.
Yo, and if you bring a pizza, it won't even be like a fresh pizza. It would have to be like a frozen joint because all the pizza places are gonna be closed. So you're gonna bring a DiGiorno's pizza.
Nah.
We'll bring spaghetti.
Nah, the wildest story I ever heard about Thanksgiving was in high school. I think I might have told this story before. It was these two friends, and when the friend said, "Yeah, I went to my friend's house, and the parents brought out chicken nuggets."
Yo.
I remember this. Yo.
Chicken nuggets.
Brought out chicken.
And then I think like when it was brought up around all of our friends, the dude was kind of puzzled, like, "Yo, y'all don't eat chicken nuggets on Thanksgiving?" Because it was like a staple in his house.
No.
Like they eat chicken nuggets on Thanksgiving.
No.
Chicken nuggets, spaghetti.
That's some weird family. Like, it's got to be a story behind that. Like, hey, one year
I swear,
our baby only would eat chicken nuggets, so we had to make them for Thanksgiving, and we've been doing it ever since. Like, you better have a story to go along with that.
I thought you was gonna bring up the Mickey Mouse meat. Oh
no.
I think she's gonna bring that. I think she's gonna bring that up.
No.
Well, nah. Well, that's what my dad. He gonna have plenty of those, and that's unfortunate.
Nah,
Like,
the best Thanksgiving story I got still is when I was at Disney, and we all there. None of us can really cook like that, and we're all talking about it's everybody from all over the country, and we're talking about things we're gonna miss at Thanksgiving, and the usual suspects, mac and cheese, the stuffing with the turkey, whatever the case may be. We had this one dude from Alabama.
Had to be,
and he was like, man, I'm sure gonna miss that plate of pig ears. that shut the conversation down. Like that just cut the whole thing short. Like, yo, like what? Like, what are you like of pig ears? Yeah, nah.
Yo, what is that? What is a plate of pig ears?
yo.
Bro. It shut the conversation down. It was like water cooler talk, and everybody's talking. He said that everybody just went back to work. Like, all right, conversation over. There's no need there's no need to like deep dive into who's making it or anything. Like, okay, it's time to get back to work.
A plate of pig ears.
But yeah, nah. But it was just like just your normal suspects. Just mac and cheese, stuffing, mashed potatoes with the gravy. Oh man, guys, I'm telling you, I'm gonna miss this plate of pig ear. All right. Time to go. It's over.
Oh man.
Yo, it sucks, because it is COVID. Like the country is so divided. Like Thanksgiving will be the prime opportunity for everybody to get together and bond again over food. But you can't even do that because you might die.
Yeah.
This
is the time you eat with who you know. This is what.
Absolutely.
Who you know. Eat with who you know. You eat what you know.
Yeah.
If you see something brown or some type of gravy, don't eat that shit if you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Round of applause for Thanksgiving. All right, we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Episode 108 in the books. You can find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe that page as well. Second and One Podcast. Also, you can email us at info@secondandone.com. You want to be on the show. You want to send us merchandise. You got any questions you want us to answer on air. Send all of that over to info@secondandone.com. COVID is here. Be safe. Thanksgiving is here. Be safe. Don't be coughing on nobody. If somebody's high risk, just leave them be. Leave them alone. And yeah, man, it's getting cold outside.
Like I said, man, it was frost on the side of the car. So I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was. It's been getting cold, and
then it's supposed to be like 50 tomorrow and 60 on Saturday or something like that.
Yeah, I did see that. So that's that
corona in the air.
This that like people always say this is that pneumonia weather, but now it's that corona, pneumonia, and just flu weather. So just be safe, man.
I thought I got hit by a fucking train Monday because I'm whatever. I'm still running outside or whatever.
Yeah.
And, it's getting cold. So Monday to Tuesday, like I just started feeling like mad, like achy and sore throat and stuff like that. Just from running outside and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's starting to get cold again, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So everybody bundle up, wear your socks, wear your gloves, wear your
Why
hat.
are you not wearing socks anyway?
Hey, yo, it's a phenomenon. People don't like socks. Like, I don't know. The only time I don't wear socks is when I'm in the shower. That's it.
That's it. Sometimes I don't wear when I'm sleeping because if it's too hot. But like other than that, like when I'm walking around the house, I have socks on.
Yeah, I'm weird, man. This is so like energy consuming, but I'll sleep with the heat on and 2 fans. I need all types of air just circulating in the apartment. So,
but you know what I do? In the dead of winter, I'll sleep with the windows open with no heat.
See that?
I gotta sleep. My body has to be cold for it to sleep. If it's hot,
you want like a bird to fly into something. Like, yo, I got some heat in there. Like,
you think I don't got a screen on the side of my window?
Oh, you said open, so I thought you meant like wide open,
not like country living open. Like,
you tree squirrel
Yeah.
Nah, man, it's a screen.
All right, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, like I can't sleep when I'm hot at all. I have to be like, and I with the windows open, but I have a comforter on the bed. Like I can't be too hot and sleep.
Yeah,
and I just generate a lot of heat anyway, so I just can't.
Yeah, when it's hot, it's tough sledding. And like I said, two fan. Look, got the ceiling fan, got a tower fan, and got the heat on. That's how we sleep in the wintertime. So, all right. If there's nothing else, this is the Second Wheel Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We go with you guys next time.